First of all, Rough Trade is an amazing venue.
Nice shirt. I know. I was like,
I
yeah.
was like, do I wear the band shirt to the interview or do I wear the venue shirt?
I love it. Venue shirt.
I wanted to get into because I just saw the BottleRock lineup, so I wanted to get into that in a little bit. Yeah, congratulations on that. So I haven't had a chance to really, or none of our announcers, I don't think, have had a chance to do a full on interview with you or anything since since our audience first met you in, I guess, late February of last year. And since then, so you've had three successful singles, including The Rush, which made you the first female artist to hit number one on all three media based rock radio charts in Canada, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You released a full length album called Ruthless, and then this EP called Wild within like 12 months of each other. And then your nominations, the Juno Award nomination and the Independent Music Award nomination. I guess one thing that our listeners might not know, because because of the timing and the way things sort of worked out, where we didn't even get to see you live or anything after we first met you. So
Mhm.
I don't know if they really realize that your success didn't come overnight. If we rewind back to, I guess, 2018, we'd find
Mhm.
you working three jobs. And I think I heard you say in an interview, like receptionist, bartender, and then you were taking music gigs in between working, I guess, eh? Um, was there a point, back then when you were kind of maybe pretty much ready to like, maybe I should stop trying, and if so, like, what was it that kind of pushed you to stick with it?
You're absolutely right. Like I had those thoughts. Yeah, I've been pursuing this in one way or another since I was like 18 probably, and I'll
Mm,
be 29 in July. So it's been a long road, just no one's really seen, you know, most of it. I started playing gigs at colleges and bars. I mean, I started doing open mics before that. So like from like 16 really is when I started.
yeah.
Um, but I was doing open mics. I was doing bar gigs, working at bartending, waitressing, reception. Just always had a different job to kind of help me pursue what I wanted to do. And it definitely got tiring. There was a couple of things that happened. I started out solo, and then I was with a folk band for a little bit. And that was in my early 20s. And I really thought that that band was going to be it. Like I was very naive, and I was like, this is it. This is the rest of my life. I know what it looks like. We're going to be famous. And then we broke up. And so then I went out again on my own. I went out to Halifax for like half a year, just to kind of do that circuit and be somewhere else for a bit. And then it was probably 2 or 3 years of gigging and working before I was just in a really bad place at one point, and I thought, I'm miserable, I'm tired, nothing's going the way I thought it was going to go.
Hmm.
These gigs aren't leading to what I thought they were going to lead, and I just felt like I was on this like hamster wheel of continually doing the same thing over and over, and obviously getting the same results because it's just like the same thing. And so I definitely had those thoughts, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I missed my chance. Maybe this isn't what it was supposed to be. And so my mom is a career counselor at one of the colleges here, and so she set me up with one of her colleagues and thought, okay, you know what? Just see what else is out there because you're really unhappy.
Right.
And so I went, and it was that moment that kind of solidified that shit, I can't do anything else, but this isn't working.
Yeah.
This poor woman was like trying to explain all of these career paths that I really thought I would be into and I thought I would enjoy. And there I am sitting there like, okay, like I know now that, you know, I'm not going to be happy doing anything else. So I'm just going to stick with it. And I made that decision to myself that no matter where this takes me, I'm going to pursue it because I don't want to look back, you know, 5, 10 years later and wonder, well, what would have happened if in that meeting I just would have said, no, I'm doing it. So
Hmm.
I did. And then honestly, it was kind of serendipitous the way it happened. It was, I think, a few weeks later, I met my manager for the first time. Now, we didn't actually start working together for quite a bit. There was a road there as well, but it was kind of this weird moment of like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, let's go, you know?
So was that scary, that decision for you?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was because it was a bad spot. Like I would be coming home from work at like 3, 4 in the morning, getting up at 8 to go to the next place. And I'd literally get home from work and be crying in the shower, like, holy shit, like this cannot be, like, there must be more. I remember
Yeah.
saying that to myself, like literally crying, being like, this isn't it. This is not it. Like, but it was scary, but there was some kind of comforting feeling in just making the decision. I
Hmm.
think the worst part was teetering between like, am I making a mistake? Am I not? And not knowing.
Yeah.
And there was something really freeing about being like, I don't care. I'm doing it. And I'm putting my mind to it. This is what's going to happen, at least for another 5 years.
Yeah. But that's
But
good. It's the jump, right? And that's like
yeah,
the, I forget who said that, but like the best things are on the other side of fear, kind of
yes,
thing. And it's
absolutely. I love that.
yeah, it seems like it's really happening for you, and it's great too. Because the one thing when I first met you, um, Jason introduced me to you in New York. We got to see that show in Brooklyn at Rough
Yep.
Trade, and before that, he was telling us a story about how he met you and how you came to him also armed with songs. Like that, he was telling us about how talented a songwriter you were and how you had all these songs already, just ready to go. And I think that's the one thing that I saw, when we first saw you play, and we first actually even started listening to the lyrics of your songs. I think like gifted songwriters such as yourself have this like very poetic way of making sense of the world that we're in, and I call that a gift because it's like lyrics like that can help, maybe not as creative people like me, get a perspective on my reality, right?
Right.
And
I love that.
and so, what's your process like when it comes to writing songs?
It varies. I mean, there's certain things that are constant with my songwriting, and that is I tend to lean toward writing when I feel inspired.
Hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean, like, it's kind of weird that way because I never know when that's going to happen, and it just kind of happens, and then I get a certain feeling. I'm like, I'm going to write something. And I don't even know what's going to come out. I have no idea, but it's that feeling that makes me sit down
Yeah.
and pick up the guitar and just start. Um, Usually starts with some guitar, or it'll just start with me like humming, and I'm kind of like mulling something over in my head. And then I usually improvise, 2 or 3 versions lyrically of this song and melodically different.
Hmm.
And I just kind of press record and pour out a bunch of stuff that comes out, and then I listen back to it and think, oh, I like that line, oh, that was cool, oh, I said that, okay. And like, because I don't actually remember anything that comes out when I'm like doing the improv thing.
Right.
um so that for a long time was the only way I wrote. And then when I started kind of experimenting with co-writing, that was completely new to me. And I found it a little bit difficult to navigate, to like get my ideas out there, but also be respectful of other people's ideas as well.
Yeah.
So that's a whole new thing, because now it's, I co-write a lot with my producer Frederick. We wrote pretty much everything together. So that's a lot of fun because I usually come to him with an idea already, and then we just kind of bounce off of each other, which, yeah, again, was very new to me. But yeah, it always ends up being pretty much the same, where I tend to improv and just kind of things come out and I record them or write them down. Um, but yeah, I don't know if there's any, like, I don't think I have a specific way of writing a song. It changes depending on the day, depending on the situation, what
Hmm.
I'm trying to say. Like, I've also experimented with, a completely fictional concept song, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
I've kind of just started doing that, where I get like almost a movie in my head and I start writing that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very different. I don't have just one specific way.
Do you have then like say within this catalog of songs that you already have written, do you kind of pick and choose? Like say for the example, this EP, and let me know if I'm interpreting the EP wrong, because I had to listen through it this weekend, and I kind of see it as like this album, could be for some people like what like the movie High Fidelity was like for me. It's
Okay.
just that like my well for me before I got married, but sort of like my kind of journey or guide through like a breakup,
Right.
like the highs, the lows, maybe the eventual empowerment. I saw that in like in all the songs, just kind of the way it flowed. Is there sort of a rhyme or reason to why you pick certain songs for an album or an EP?
There is. This one specifically was interesting because it was one of those situations where it was unanimous on the songs that I wanted.
Hmm.
Although I do have more songs that haven't been chosen for this specific one
Yeah.
that I thought, no, this should be on there and whatever. And then after after just thinking about it, there wasn't a specific story that I was trying to tell throughout the songs, but I picked all of them and then realized, wow, this is telling a story. But it,
Mhm.
to be honest, I don't think it was like necessarily like this is the story I'm telling on the album and these are the songs that are going to tell it. It was more that I wrote these songs that told their own story. So it
Right.
was pretty easy to put them together, but they weren't written in a specific order or for the album. They just were written and then kind of put on afterwards, which I find, I mean, I do that a lot with my, it was kind of the same thing with Ruthless as well. It's like these songs have their own story when they're written, and then
Yeah.
I choose them based on that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like they just get piled together and then they make sense. But that's like most of my life. It's pretty like scrambled until it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool though, because like the way I saw it laid out, yeah, it's interesting the way that it just all kind of fits, and especially to end it with Best Boy, it's like that I'm ready to move on, and I'm a little bit more in control of this situation. So it felt me like I remember listening to it on Saturday and thinking, oh wow, this really feels like watching the movie High Fidelity
I love
to me.
it. I love it. Yeah, I
um,
mean, there's definitely themes of breakup and empowerment, and
for
that's
sure.
that's a story that I have lived over and over in my life. So
Yeah.
definitely that coming through my music is not surprising to me.
Yeah, but then even in Ruthless, like as you're saying, yeah, each song definitely has its own story. And like even the one that I gravitated towards the most that I just loved because I love what it does for people who are going through things similar was Funeral for a Lover.
Mhm.
And it's again, like I was saying before, it just helps, people that can't necessarily form the words or form the thoughts to process experiences such as that,
Yeah,
that kind of thing can really help them, which is why I call, songwriting or the talent of songwriting such a gift to, that you're bringing upon the world. So I like the process, and I like that it's what's made me a fan of you. So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
really quickly on touring then. So, when I came back from seeing you in New York, it's the one thing I kept telling people is like, okay, this song, The Rush, is fire. It is amazing, but you got to see the song or you got to see just the performance live with her band, see the energy. I remember watching because I went up to in first of all, Rough Trade is an amazing venue. I was like,
Nice shirt. I know. I was like,
I was
yeah.
like, do I wear the band shirt to the interview or do I wear the venue shirt?
I love it. Venue shirt.
Yeah,
Venue
I wore
shirt.
like I interviewed Mono Whales about a couple of weeks back, or I guess a month back, and I wore their shirt, and Sally noticed it right away. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel like a dork now.
I bet she loved it though.
Yeah. Oh, she did. She did.
Yeah.
So I came back and I was like, yeah, you have to see her perform, and there's this intensity to when you perform. If you could wake up tomorrow, and I know it's starting to happen because you did get just get booked for Bottle Rock, but if you could wake up tomorrow and sort of magically this pandemic is over, nothing to worry about, you can start touring again, and your manager hands you a list of dream bands that you could tour with starting tomorrow, who would be on that list?
Ooh, okay. I mean, my all-time favorite that everybody, it's no secret, Kings of Leon. That would be like, yep, going. Elle King, I've really gravitated towards. I mean, I just love her music. I love her aesthetic. I love her like give no shits. Like she's just, she's amazing. So that would be really cool. Are we talking like still playing bands or like any
Or dream bands, any band? Yeah.
like if I could open for Bruce Springsteen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that'd be amazing. Yeah, those are just a few.
So with your upcoming gigs, you've got a few live streaming gigs, including 2 nights at the Danforth Music Hall in Toronto next month, which is an amazing venue. And then BottleRock in Napa Valley. So that just got announced? It's been flooding my social media feeds.
So. Yeah, just announced today. I was really hopeful that they were going to keep the lineup because it was postponed from obviously COVID last year.
Yeah.
And they had postponed it, and then they canceled it, and there was this whole thing, and then I didn't find out until just recently that it was even happening again.
Yeah.
So today it was actually kind of a surprise to me. I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. It's happening. This isn't a dream. It's really happening. I'm so excited.
That's so cool.
That's a dream festival for me, and the lineup this year, I'm just like, we are not worthy.
The lineup is insane. So Guns N' Roses, Stevie Nicks, Foo Fighters, almost everybody that's probably been itching to tour over the last year is just, I'm on that. Throw me on there. On there.
And the energy, I mean, because it's going to be the first festival, at least for me, since the pandemic. I mean, I'm like shaking. I'm so excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, for taking the time to chat with me. Your EP Wild, it's available now wherever, people can get their music. And of course, you can catch JJ Wilde singles Off the Rails, along with Mercy, Best Boy, The Rush, all right here in the zone. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Great talking to you again.
The Zone at 91.3.